Oh, so what happened is Echo Fox. So here's what happened. Here's why I like went away from the game. This is pretty important. So obviously we all know what how Echo Fox disbanded from the racism and stuff in the company. Okay, so when that happens, everyone lost their sponsor, and me and my team were renegotiating with other esports teams to get signed again. Just before we signed the contract, COVID-19 hit. And then they both decided to back out on their contracts because of COVID-19. And then COVID lasted 2 years. So I was just doing streaming and coaching for those 2 years. By the time it ended, they weren't interested anymore because 2 whole years had passed. So by then, it didn't make sense for me to take a risk, pay out of pocket to go to events anymore. It made sense for me to continue streaming and coaching because that's what was working. That was a safe path. My entire life trajectory happened from 2 things outside my control: Echo Fox disbanding and COVID, and them happening back to back in the way that they happened. If those Echo Fox disbanding and COVID didn't happen, my life would have went on a very different trajectory, and I'm almost positive, like 90% sure I'd be a top Melee player today because I wouldn't have stopped. It's unfortunate, but that's exactly what happened. And the trajectory of my life and the way that made the direction that set my life toward streaming and toward coaching, and not sponsored because there's no sponsor paying me, no flights and no hotels either. I'm not going to risk that. I have something that's working. I'm going to keep doing what's working. And then I've been doing that until now. That's basically the biggest reason that I stopped. Oh, I don't remember this. Wait, I need to start this video over. I want to watch this video. I'm gonna start this from the beginning. See some stuff.
One of the greatest Smash players to ever pick up a controller was initially looked down on as a competitor, but proved everyone wrong, becoming one of the best to ever play the game.
Wait, put the volume better.
One of the greatest Smash players to ever pick up a controller was initially looked down on as a competitor, but proved everyone wrong, becoming one of the best to ever play the game. Being one of the 5 gods of Smash alongside Armada, Mango, PPMD, and Hungrybox. He was one of the best players in the world and the first one of the 5 to establish himself as a top player. While he's very well known for his dominance in multiple Smash titles, how good was he actually? Jason Mew2king Zimmerman's journey starts in his hometown Cinnaminson, New Jersey during 2005. He started playing Melee competitively at this time, though he didn't have any noteworthy events. His character of choice was Fox McCloud, becoming iconic with his green sweater and red boots. Mew2king was noted at this point to not be very proficient against actual players. He didn't adapt very well and couldn't figure out how to deal with mind games. That's why he's widely called the robot. M2K put himself...
This is so exaggerated. Oh my god. Okay, I had trouble fighting people at first because I had only fought computers and I wasn't used to what people did. I adapted very quickly for the time investment, considering that my competitors have been doing that with their friends for years. I mean, what that's saying is, I guess it's true technically. It sounds, how do you say? It sounds exaggerated. It sounds exaggerated to create like a storyline.
On the map in 2006 with various high placements and wins against the best players at the time. While he didn't win any events, with the closest being Melee FC6 where he placed second, he was a constant presence.
Also, I did win a lot of tournaments in 2005 and even more in 2006. For some reason, they're not documented because it was on like old Smashboards posts and Brawl was always Brawl. But a lot of these events were like on Smashboards before Smashboards got like revamped, and it all got deleted when the site went down at some point. So it all got lost and erased. Only some of them are in my head, but there's like no proof that I was ever there for most of them, sadly. And then I had a bunch of trophies from them, and then Triforce, EMP, and he said he put them in stores and lost them or something. I kind of got effed up. I kind of got screwed over by bad luck. Nothing that was any fault of my own. Just a time period where things weren't recorded well on the internet or documented well. That's all. But I did quite a lot in 05, quite a lot in 06, and I won quite a lot.
In the top 8 in every major tournament. He was very nearly there, he just needed that push. People in the scene saw Mew2king as different and didn't give him much respect.
See, I was literally just cold, so sometimes I'm just somewhere and I'm like, I'm cold. I'm gonna do this because I'm cold. I didn't give a shit what people thought. I gave no Fs. I didn't care.
Back as a player, but with how dedicated he was to the game,
but that's so funny.
different and
I guess it is pretty funny now. Looking at it now, it is pretty funny. But I'm just thinking, wow, I'm cold. I want to be cold. I don't want to be cold, so I'm gonna go in my shirt.
Didn't give him much respect as a player, but with how dedicated he was to the game.
This was MLG with my glasses, and my glasses are broken. That was my Facebook, my second Facebook profile picture. And very many people don't notice it. I actually won MLG. It was either Orlando or one of the other. It's one of the first 3 MLGs. I think from one of the first 2 MLGs in Brawl in 2010. I was insanely down. That was like, I was so far ahead of like Ally. Ally was like second best to me, and I was way ahead of him. Like, I was ridiculous. Like MK Leo's prime versus the destroying the field, ridiculous. Yeah, I remember this vividly.
He spent thousands of hours learning how the game works in frame data. There wasn't anything he didn't know about Melee, and it started translating into his competitive play, very quickly rising the ranks.
As my friend Umbreon Mao. And oh, here's that's me just being a goofball. As you can see, I didn't shower much in 2005 as my hair is yucky. But nobody told me about this stuff. I was just a kid. I was just like, I just want to play video games. I didn't know anything. And I was just being silly goofball.
2007 rolled around, and it was a good year for Mew2king, with him winning several events and showcasing his new character, Marth. M2K started by winning his first ever tournament at Cataclysm 3. He won several more, such as
Cataclysm 3 against Queen DJ. Actually, fun story about that. That was in like March 2005. I actually, to be honest with you, to be 100% honest with you, even though I proved myself as the best starting in early 2007, I was actually the real best at the end of 06. I just didn't realize it. I should be using Marth. See, I played Azen in one friendly Marth Ditto, 4-stocked him. Played PC Chris in friendlies, was 3-stocking, was beating him consistently in Marth Falco. So 4-stocked Azen, our only game at the final MLG in end of 06. 4-stocked him, our only game. Beating PC most of the time. And then I was also fighting, I fought Ken in the East Coast versus West Coast crew battle, which I don't know if that's still saved on the internet. And I 3-stocked him. It was 4 versus 4-stock, and I 3-stocked him. And I was like, wow, I should be using Marth more, but I didn't have confidence then. All I had to do was go Marth in that bracket, but I was stupid. I didn't. So I think I was the actual secret best. I was the secret best by the end of 06. I just didn't get to prove it for real to the public world until early 07.
Evo 2007 West and East, Melee FC Diamond, and Super Champ combo, plus a few more. While he had a shockingly bad
that's a lot of first. Oh, by the way, Evo World was best of 1, no stage. I had to fight Mango in pools, but it wasn't a normal set. I had to fight Mango in a best of 1, no stage ban. So I couldn't ban Dreamland, and I wanted to, and I didn't get to because Mr. Wizard's an idiot, and he made the stage best of 1 match, random stage. And to make that worse, if that doesn't sound bad enough, you also can't ban estates. So the Dreamland just happened to get on random, and I had to fight Mango's Jigglypuff, a character that you pretty much can't beat on Dreamland. That's by a large margin of best stage. Lost 1 match, rip. And then I went emo 2K mood and lost to Chon Dude and losers because I was emo. Then the next tournaments was it I don't know why this isn't showing, but there's a tournament called Super. Why isn't it showing? There's a tournament in 07. Oh, here it is. It's Super Champ combo. Oh, it's in a descending order. It's in the upper order. I rematched Mango 3-1 to him, only losing the Dreamland match, 3-stocking him twice in upper stages. And I destroyed Chon Dude like 3-stocking him in the same matchups on the same stages that I lost to Evo. That's the difference between best of 1 and emo to 3 out of 5 sets and confidence. Only 1 month later. Pretty important details.
FC Diamond and Super Champ combo. His dominance cannot be understated. He completely overshadowed Ken's Marth and reached new heights with the character. He also worked heavily on the frame data for every single character. Many players include
the frame data stuff was the years. Actually, funny fact, I started the frame data testing in Nintendo 64 games. In Smash 64 for the Nintendo 64, which came out in 1999. That's probably let's just skip the 1999. Let's just talk the year 2000 because that's probably when I started. I was testing frame data probably in the year 2000, before GameCube came out. Probably 2000, yeah, around then. And then I was figuring out frame data in my room alone, but it was very difficult because the moves in that game, they move from like this to that instantly. Like in Melee, it's like a fluid motion. It's easier to tell. In Smash 64, it's like this, and then suddenly it's there. It's way harder to test. But I made like, I think roughly 30 stat tests. I just never posted them on the internet, which is stupid of me. I should have. Maybe one day I will. Maybe I'll make another video in the future of doing that. Maybe I'll do that in my book or in a future video or both. I don't know. Yeah. And then, so I started testing it when it came out. I stopped my stat test roughly around the same time I started tournaments. So I started tournaments February 14th, 2005. Around then, give or take, is when I stopped doing stat tests. I probably stopped around 2004. The moment that I focused on competition, I stopped the stat tests. Unless it was something specifically I need, like what's the frame data of this move or something. But like if it's like all the useless stuff, like 2001 to 2004, mostly around 2003.
Oh yeah, not only did his Marth and Fox dominate, but he added in a Sheik to the mix. He was
So I was actually working on my Marth, Sheik, and Fox before my first tournament. Before my first tourney, I was already playing like the whole cast. I just worked on them over time. In fact, like there was a crew battle at OC6, OC2 in 2006, where I literally went like a crew battle against like Simna's crew, like Simna, the Nest player, and he had a crew of like 5 people. I beat their entire crew without losing my 4 stocks, and it was like 20 stocks. I took 20 stocks. It was either 16 or 20 stocks without losing 4. Kind of like the crazy return. It's just that this one wasn't recorded, and that one didn't have Ken Isaiah on. But I was doing that like dominance, and I was like beating Captain Jack in Sheik Dittos. Captain Jack beat my Marth all the games. He beat my Fox like 2/3 of the game, but I was winning almost all of Sheik. Like I was winning at least 2/3 of our Sheik Dittos. I was like, wow, I'm really good at Sheik and the Ditto. And this is like the middle of 2006, so I was already having a really good Sheik. It's just that like I just didn't have like experience or videos. Like I didn't have proof per se. The proof is in my head. It's just that sometimes people see it. Oh, that's the soonest video I saw. So that's when they know about it. So it's a little different. The Marth, I just realized that like I was working on Marth, Sheik, and Fox like the entire time. So I was just constantly in a work in progress with all 3 over time.
undoubtedly the best player in the world in 2007, but something crazier was coming. It's now 2008, and M2K started off winning Smashpocalypse 3, but fell to Mango shortly after at Pound 3. Mew2king was unable to deal with Jigglypuff and resorted to using his
It's not that I was unable to deal with Jigglypuff. The crowd was yelling right next to me every single time I got hit. That was very, I'm up straight with you. That was very distracting. I was also pretty freaking nervous because I didn't. But yeah, I mean, John aside and stuff. So I did 3-0 PC Chris, dominating my bracket. So Mango got to his bracket. He beat his opponents. He beat his opponents getting up to me. I destroyed everybody. I don't even think I lost a single match the entire tournament. If I did, I don't remember. But I like 3-0 PC Chris. I massacred everybody up until Mango. He got by everybody and then got by me. So he like barely won against all these people in a row. And then I destroyed everybody, but then he won the head-to-head on me with everyone yelling every time I got hit. Not saying I would or would not have won otherwise, but I just feel like all the details should be known, at least.
His 3 main characters, and when all of them failed, he even resorted to a Jigglypuff Ditto.
My Jigglypuff's actually really good. I just had one single bad match that people like to meme on, but my Puff is actually really good. I 4-stocked hacks and turret with Puff, for example, and then he complained about flanking and I asked about ledge grabbing on that and that stuff, and it was kind of annoying. But my Sheik never 4-stocked hacks. Back when he was the best Cat and Falcon, getting second to me at turns and stuff, for East Coast and stuff, he would only complain about Jigglypuff or the ledge because I 4-stocked him turning with my Puff. Even though I did the same thing with Sheik, outplayed him in fighting, ledge camped him, everything, it was never like that as broken. It's just that people don't have much data. You see, I have data on my whole life. I know what my whole life is because I lived it. People only know what occasional storylines they've heard or the occasional video here or there, which is a tiny fraction of the full story, which is why me mentioning more and me having a book is important.
Letting the loss deter him, Mew2king won every other tournament he entered.
Oh yeah, but that was the only. I also went to a bunch of tourneys the rest of the year. I didn't lose a single turn for the rest of the year in Melee, and I would get first and second every tourney, bro, as well.
This year, 8 tournaments in a row, he won.
It's not just 8 in a row. These are just the 8 that were documented. I went to way, way, way more than just these 8. These were the only 8 that happened to be documented on the internet. I was going to them like every week or two. Basically every week or two I'd be at events. I don't think I can stress these details enough. These were just the documented events.
While we're focusing on his Melee career, it's worth mentioning that Mew2king was also considered the best Brawl player at the time, holding joint first in Melee.
I don't even I think it's actually, to be honest with you, saying them wording it the way they did by saying at the time I think it's underselling me. I was actually the best in the world in 2008, roughly tied with Ally for best in 2009, by far the best in 2010. Had a little bit of a slump in 2011, 2012, but I was still really good and like a huge force to be reckoned with despite that. I was very college focused then. Then 2013, I was the best again. And I would argue that the first 5 years of Brawl, I could have been argued for first. Like I was definitely best in 08, definitely best in 2010, definitely best in 2013, and had an argument for 2011 and 12 as well. And then by 2014, Brawl was smaller than Project M and Melee, so I didn't care because I was like, I'm just gonna play new games. And then a new game's coming out, so I'm like, okay, this is as soon as it's not even gonna be a top 3 Smash game, so I don't care anymore.
MVG2king had one of the best comebacks in Melee history. Jason was known to always give up and stop trying when he was down, but this time he didn't, with the famous match 4 versus the Shizwiz happening in Losers Finals.
I'm gonna go over this entire match and stock in my book. I already have it written. I wrote it like 5 years ago. I already in my book from like when I was writing in 2018. I already wrote like everything for like these stocks and match, since people, especially back then, talked about it a lot. For example, right there, you know, when I did that fall fair, it's more than you see on the screen. It's like, I'll just give a quick example. So a lot of it was like,
he didn't.
For some reason I was playing, I was expecting him to like, I don't know, for some reason I thought he'd aim right or something. I was up throw right away so they don't DI. I consider like get the pummel because they won't mash out. I consider a forward DI, and like I don't remember if I did a baby walk. Let me see. See, I do a baby walk here. See the little step? All these little things to make it barely work, just in case. I just hold forward after the up throw. And these are like, I studied percents, knew like, okay, this works here if I'm perfect. But if I do it, there's no reason not to walk forward just in case I'm not frame perfect, or maybe it's necessary here. Then it's like back DI works to like 31%. So like I knew that if he went left, I would have to do something else, maybe dash grab. But since it's at 31, that's the exact, I think that's like, I don't remember if it's 31 after hit or before hit or whatever, but on a 0.9875 controller when I tested alone, I could still barely reach the back, even if he full DI back, because Marth grabs more behind him against spacies than in front on both up tilt and regrab, basically. And I just doing the percents in my head. I knew on no DI at like mid 30s, if I did this perfectly, it would hit him in this way, and he'd probably miss the DI. And that means I could get this kind of combo. It's a lot of very tiny things of like me playing alone a lot and studying and practicing and theorizing. A lot. It's not just as like, oh, just turn off your brain up throw. No, there's a lot that went into it. Kind of like a lot went into my frame data test. And here, I set up this stall. I had a feeling that like, I just knew, this is super weird to say. I had a huge feeling I was going to get a lead stand shield, and that I was going to be able to shield his down smash or dare, and shield DI in, and maybe get a kill. I actually planned it ahead before it happened. I don't know. Maybe it was my instinct or something. I saw all that in my head before it happened. And then this fair, just in case Falco did a double jump rising dare, right after I dash off stage, right after I press stick forward to do the fair, even before the fair hitbox would come out, I'll be holding the R button just in case he double jump dare. That way, if he spiked me, I'd still be able to detect the stage. So even with, I've never actually done that in my life, or up until this point in time, maybe, but I theorized it. I option selected just in case something that I've never even done, just to cover potential options that could have potentially happened. You're not going to see that on the screen without my explanation, but there's a lot of stuff that went into my thought processes. So my brain, it's always going. It's not as, it's way more than everybody thinks it is, especially when I was at my peak.
While he placed highly at most events, placing in the top 3 with the exception of Genesis, where he got...
So at this, by 2009, I actually just, I was on my move. I was like East Coast the first half of 2009, and then I was living in Ohio with a friend in late 2000, the end of 2009, like the last, I don't know, 5 months of 2009, and like the first like few months of 2010, like like for college. I went to college in the late 09 and early 010 in Ohio college. So I was living with my friend in Ohio there for like a year, or a little under a year. And I was very focused on college, figuring out what I want to do in life, and also going to Melee and Brawl tournaments, but knowing that Brawl was the future because, you know, that it's the new game. So that was my mentality there. I don't know how I got this there. Oh yeah, I also like sometimes I forfeited out of brackets because like, oh, I was doing good in Melee and I just wanted to do that or something. Sometimes that happened. There were times that like my friend asked me to forfeit to him, and I have the heart to say no. So that's the thing that may or may not have had. I remember there was one time I forfeited to Adamus at a tourney because he asked me to throw grand finals tournament. I didn't care. I was like, whatever, if it makes you happy. I don't really care.
5th, his dominance had ended.
I don't remember what event that was.
Well, in his 4th place rank for the year, and while 2009 wasn't the best had ended, this was reflected.
Yeah, I'd say I was 4th. Okay, so I think I was fourth this year, but I want to stress that there was a gap after top four. Like Decisions was fifth and J-Man was sixth. I was way better than Decisions and J-Man. Like I was way ahead of these people. Pizza Chris was probably low due to inactivity, but I was. It was basically a top four. And even though I happened to be fourth, it was basically the Elite Four. Kind of, you know, in Pokemon, you fight the Elite Four. It's basically the Elite Four, and then everybody else at this year.
Reflected as well in his 4th place rank for the year. And while 2009 wasn't the best for Mew2king, he still remained one of the best players. He also retained his #1 rank in Brawl.
Oh, so I was first in 2009. So when I said I wasn't even sure if I was first in 2009, I guess I was underrating myself. So I was the best in 08 by far, best in 09. I guess it was by more than I thought. Oh yeah, I also went to Texas in 2008 or 2009 to fight Dojo, who was the other best Meta Knight. I went there and I 3-stocked. I went there and I 3-stocked him and 6-0'd him. I 6-0'd and 3-stocked the guy that they were trying to say Texas was hyping him up as, oh, this is the best Meta Knight. He's better than Mew2king. So I went there specifically, either 2008 or 2009, I don't remember which, is one of the two, just to prove that I was better. And then I went there and I did it. And I thought that was kind of cool. So I won by 3-stock and 6-0 while they were all cheering against me. You don't know how good that felt. You're the invader. I'm the invader. Everyone's cheering against me. I go there to prove myself. Massacre. Worse than the left in 6-0.
Brawl and was more focused on it.
With that said, he's a very good player. I was different.
Than Melee, as Brawl seemed like the future.
I only went there for pride because I didn't want anyone to doubt that I was the best. I wanted everybody to know. It was just all about pride. It was all about pride. I wanted everybody in the world to know that I was the best and that it wasn't close. That was my goal. You have to know I'm the best, and you have to know it's not close.
Of course, it's better graphics and fantastic mechanics.
That was very important to me back then. So while tripping is a very bad mechanic, it's nowhere near as bad as Rage in Smash 4. Rage, 2 stocks of Rage in Smash 4, if you get the first stock in Smash Wii U, you basically won the game like 80% of the time. Because you killed them, but now they have no Rage to kill you early. So they might have to hit you several more times. And assuming that you're fighting at roughly a 1-to-1 ratio, that means they already have such a huge, like, several hit lead on the second stock that if you take the first stock in Smash 4, and it was only 2 stock games, you basically just win. Smash 4 low-key should have been 1 stock games in longer sets or 3 stock games, but not 2 stock. 2 stock of Rage is so bad. And honestly, there's no way to make Rage not as bad, but it would have been more fair if it was 1 stock games, but like longer sets in 1 stock games. That was the one game that should have been that way, actually. But a 2 stock Rage, oh, so bad. Now this game with Brawl, tripping might be bad in Brawl, but I've only probably won or lost maybe 5 games, like 1 game per year in either a friendly or tourney, ever, like more or less, to tripping. It almost never changes the outcome of the match. I'm not saying it can't, but it's only a 1% odds of it happening. One time I actually tripped into the cat's chain. I lost the set to Nakat. I lost the tournament match to Nakat because at the beginning, I dashed to him to do a Rising Dare. I tripped, he grabbed me at 0, and I died. And then I just got camped out because having a lead in that game is broken. So I actually lost the set to Nakat that I may or may not have lost otherwise because I tripped and died at 0. But these are rare exceptions. It rarely changes the outcome of a match. So while it is really bad on paper, like I'm not saying it's not bad. It's not good. I'm saying the average person who doesn't play Brawl tends to use that to like hate on it when it's actually very rarely actually changing the outcome of a match. And I think these are some important details.
2010 was a weak year for Mew2king with his continued focus on Brawl. He only entered 6 tournaments, and though he won 3, they were on the small.
Okay, this just isn't true. Oh my god, this is so inaccurate, bro. I was at tourneys like every week or 2. I was literally at tourneys every week or 2 in both games. Oh my god, nothing is documented back then, man. I was at like Ohio tournaments, Michigan tournaments, tri-state tournaments, bro. I was everywhere all the time. This is so inaccurate. I don't blame them though. They don't know any better. They don't know my life. And if all his Brawl and Smash Boards didn't like get shut that like lose all its prior data, you would see the gigantic list of events I've won. Okay, so like right here, I need to rant because this is so it's so unfair. Right now, I'm 4th place, tied for third and 4th. It's gonna be 4th soon, obviously. I'm tied for 3rd and 4th for tournament wins. I promise you, this number is probably like if I lowball it, it's probably like 800 plus. Like I would be. I'm almost positive that I'd still be 1st place. Possibly by a lot. Possibly by a large margin. Like a very large margin, potentially. If everything was actually, like, documented from, like, 2005 to 2012. Because it seems like stuff was documented a lot better from 2013 and onwards on the internet. But from like 2005 to 2012, which is like half my career that I traveled, it hardly anything was documented there. That's basically half my career, where half the stuff in half my career wasn't recorded. So that's probably hundreds and hundreds of events. In the most extreme situation, this number, I might have actually done more than 1,000. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's possible. Very possible that it might have been 1,000.
He placed 5th at Pound 4, 3rd at Apex 2010, and nearly won ROM 3.
And by the way, this is like results. So it's like top 8s, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, as I said, see, on record, that's the problem. Smash Sports and all as we're all going down, removed most of them from the record, sadly.
Narrowly losing to the last of the 5 gods to ascend to godhood.
Oh yeah, I had to fight PPMD at a tournament. It was game 5. It was like the final. I think it was like set 3, game 5 or something. It was like the final game. And I didn't even consider that Rainbow Cruise was a stage that was allowed. He just went Rainbow Cruise and just won for free because Fox Falco can't lose there. It was so sad. Because I didn't, if I just remembered that, like, oh, Rainbow Cruise is allowed, I would have just banned it. But it didn't even cross my mind.
Dr. Peepee.
I was surprised when he said it.
Play number 5, CG. What was it? CGC at S. What? Guys, get the names together for these tournaments, my god. But he also won Good Shit German. M2K was beginning to fall off compared to previous.
At Good Shit German, I actually had to fight Mango back when Mango was only using Mario. But Mango outranked like S2J, outranked Shroomed. We both beat S2J and Shroomed. I think I beat them both. Yeah, I beat them both. I beat S2J, Shroomed, and Mango. I don't remember if I beat all 3, but I didn't lose to anyone. I think I beat all 3. And then I fought Mango. I beat him 3-1 and 3-0. Like, my Sheik was just destroying everybody. His Mario was destroying everybody. And I beat him 3-0, 3-1. So 6-1 total.
As he couldn't consistently defeat 4 players that were equally as skilled with only half the focus. Despite
I think that's accurate. 4 players equally as skilled with half the focus. Yeah, I would say that. I'd say it's 4 pretty much equals. But I was the one person doing a combination of, well, multiple Smash games all the time. And also figuring out what I wanted to do in life, like studying college, studying programming and other stuff, and realizing, well, I actually hate this. I'm done. I was in college on and off from, I think, the end of 2008. It was either 2008 or 2009 that I started college. And then I finally graduated in early 2013. That's because I had to go on and off. And then when I went to Ohio, the credits never transferred. So I had to start over again in New Jersey. So I did New Jersey college. Then I went to Ohio college. Found out that the credits don't transfer between the colleges. I found this out in early 2011. So it was all waste. And then I wasted hundreds of dollars in like 2 semesters of college for no reason. So I had to go decide, am I living in Ohio or New Jersey again? I went back to New Jersey because it's cheaper to live. And then I finished my degree, like here and there, but enough to keep doing events. Then when the Return of the King era, that was right after I graduated college and I wasn't distracted anymore. And I don't think that's coincidence. It could be coincidence, but I think it was a correlation that, oh, I'm free from college. Now I don't have to worry and be distracted. And that was the whole time I was in college is coincidentally the time I was having a slump for Melee. You could say it's coincidence, you could say it's not, but those are the facts. I think it's a factor. Maybe not a super, super, super big factor, but definitely a factor.
2011 was very similar to the previous years for Mew2king. His attendance did improve slightly with 8 events. His continued focus on Brawl wasn't doing him any melee favors, and he was seen as the weakest of the 5 gods around.
Oh, by the way, at this time, normally right here,
Brawl wasn't doing him any melee favors.
So right here, normally what you would do is you would dash back and do a short hop up air, but in vanilla Melee with a 1-frame window to dash back, sometimes like maybe like a 20% of the time, let's say, I don't know, it varies on the controller and hand speed and stuff. But there's always that chance. Let's just say a 20% chance you miss dash back, which is a 5-frame penalty. Then I just missed the whole combo. So back then I was more incentivized to take the guaranteed F smash rather than 1 in 5 chances having the combo drop entirely, which is stupid. Because then the dash back up air might miss because I'll be 5 frames slower than it would be or whatever. So that's why you see more of those now and more up airs now because there's no risk now. Of people who don't know compete in the old days, they don't know this. They take for granted the fact that they can move for free easily.
And he was seen as the weakest of the 5 gods around this time. He failed to win any major tournament, with his best win being a smaller event known as Sudden Death 4 over Mango.
There's no way I only went to these, like, I really think, I want to stress again that a very, very, very large amount from 2005 to 2012 is not documented. And they're only talking about this stuff. The very small amount that was.
Performed very well in doubles this year, being the first year where he won multiple events. He fell in the rankings being number 5.
I'm just going to talk about doubles real quick. I'm the best doubles player of all time, historically. I think me, Plup, and Armada are roughly equal at doubles. Like, But the thing is, my amount of tournaments, my amount of different partners, and my resume is the best. So I'm gonna give myself first, even though I think me, Plup, and Armada could all have the argument. That's for melee, and then for brawl, I'm the best. Period. I'd say Nairo is probably second or something, but like he was mainly like good at ADHD. I had more years on him, and I had more different partners I could succeed with. So I'd be first in melee and first in brawl, and then I think I was also first in project then for doubles. So I think I was the best in doubles in all 3 games actually, and then on with some events in Smash Wii U. I wish I got to prove myself in Ultimate because I think I'm dominant in that too.
And while he once retained his #1 rank in Brawl, his melee one had suffered even more. His attention had switched to Sheik and Marth more, with Fox now being seen as a secondary character.
That's because Fox, first off, I was really good with Sheik and Marth, and I liked them, and I was good with like the spacing and stuff. And the other thing was, it's very hard that Fox is more of like an all or nothing character, where Sheik is very consistent, and Marth is kind of like not as consistent as Sheik, but more consistent than Fox. And I was really good with him too, obviously. So also I use Sheik a lot in doubles. There's that too. So if all these factors considered, and the fact that I was playing Brawl and Nenad a lot, which means that I'm not warming up Fox, which means you can't play Fox at your best. Not only that, controller matters a lot in that game. Warming up, having a warm venue, which yes, some venues are cold and you can't move your fingers, which means Fox is worse than them. It's another big factor. It's warming up, having the hand speed, just all these factors. Like, and you don't have like good controllers, modified controllers, UCF to give good dash. Like, you didn't have all these things to make Fox free. Like nowadays, you can do. It's easy because you have modified controllers, UCF, 2-frame dashback window, and all this other stuff. Yeah, or playing at your home with warm hands, like all these factors were factors I was forced to consider them. So that was why Fox went more away with time.
M2K saw an incredible resurgence in his tournament attendance in 2012. While he forfeited at Apex 2012,
Oh yeah, so at Apex 2012, I think I lost to Wobbles early. I lost to Wobbles early, which obviously everyone know I didn't like Icy's back then. I didn't really have a Peach then or anything. Actually, I went back and forth with him. This is one of the times I lost to him, I think. Or maybe that was a different event. No, I think one of the Apexes, I think Apex 2010, I beat Wobbles, and then 2012, I lost. We were very, very back and forth in our careers. And then I think it was either Hacks or J-Man. I don't remember if they asked me to forfeit to him. I said that, like, I guess we could play. I don't remember exactly how it went, but we basically talked and agreed that I would forfeit to him because I felt like I didn't really care. I was like emo and depressed. I was like, I'm just saying, I was suicidal back then. In 2011 and 12, where my results were off, I was suicidal for other reasons I don't want to get into, which I will get into in my book. So I didn't care about anything, really. And so I wanted to see them succeed. I wanted my friends to succeed. So I was willing to like forfeit to them so that they could succeed.
Still placed within the top 4 at every tournament he entered. While he won many smaller events, a major continued to elude him. His closest was Zenith 2012.
So I actually didn't play in losers bracket of Apex. I don't remember if I forfeited. I might have forfeited Brawl too. No, I didn't forfeit Brawl. I was just emo and I lost to Rich Brown and Ocean, I think. Even though, yeah, I lost to those two. Melee I forfeited because I think Hacks Money asked me. I could be wrong. It was a long time ago. But I just remember that we talked, and the conclusion to the talk was that I agreed to let him go on because he really wanted to do good.
Where he lost a heartbreaking Game 10 versus Dr. Peepee. Although he did lose the tournament, he did hit one, if not the greatest Marth combo ever.
Oh my god.
I have so many combos that could have been called the greatest Marth combo ever, like my entire life, including 99% of my life, which wasn't recorded.
Good roll. He got the knockdown. Up top. Is he gonna? He got it. Tetris. Up air.
I actually just went over this on stream like an hour ago. I guess we can make that a separate video. I just went over what my thought process was in this in detail.
Up air.
2012 was a great year for M2K, not in placements per se, but with attendance. He was finally focusing on Melee, much to the delight of the fans. Brawl was less of a priority this
Oh yeah, so Brawl in this year, I didn't give a okay. So Brawl in this year, but it looks like the game was like going down. I want to stress again that 2012, 11 and 12, I was suicidal. I didn't care about anything, and I was doing college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. I saw Smash as like, okay, like a temporary thing, and there's no money, no future, because my parents were like telling me there's no future, no money, and I was just I listened to them and stuff. So I was just like living life, and I was like, whatever, this is passion project's kind of over. Slump year, and it's mostly due to a combination of extreme depression, giving no fucks, and college.
This year for him, and he lost his #1 rank, falling to number 8 in the world. What awaited people next year was something special. 2013 began with Apex
That combo was so good.
number 8 in the
I knew that I could combo fair to 2 down tilts.
world. What awaited people next year was something special. 2013
You might take it for granted now, but I created all this stuff.
13 began with Apex 2013 and Mew2king.
And I didn't need to do this, but I did it because it's cool.
Short. While he won smaller scale tournaments,
And I know the other person feels bad, so like, I try to be like sympathetic. Like, yes, like look, I dominate, right? Like, look, I'm dominating. 3-1, a 3-1 score, ending on a 2-stock mid%. It's pretty dominant.
2013 and Mew2king fell short.
Well, but like, I understood that like the other person, Mango, I understood that he wasn't happy. So I'm not gonna like pop off and make him feel bad. So, you know, I kind of do like my own little way of like not wanting the other person to feel bad.
Scale tournaments, a major win.
So, you know, I'm just like, you know, because I want to be sympathetic, you know? Like, I won. I'm happy that I won, but I don't want to be like popping off and making other person feel bad, you know?
Was something he still needed. With Evo hosting Melee, Mew2king had shifted his focus more on it at this point due to the prestigiousness of the tournament. He felt
I need to actually mention this because I feel like I'm not credited enough for this. There was something called I think breast cancer. It's like the Evo donation drive with best breast cancer research, and which went from I think January until like all of January basically, or like the second half of January or something. Yeah, it was January until like February 1st, I believe. And so it went on for like weeks, right? And whoever had the highest donations won, and that would be the 8th game at Evo. Okay, Skullgirls lost to it. The conclusion to it was that Skullgirls lost to us by 20k. Sorry, by 17k. We won by about 20.8k just from one guy I contacted who was like a millionaire. His name was Nova, and I contacted him. I was basically begging him to save Melee's future. So he donated 10k and 10.8k according to what he told me, and he did it at like the last moment. And I know it's true because it happened like exactly when he said it would happen both times. So I know he did it for sure. And that's not including I donated my $200 of my own, and I also spent considerable hours, like all day for several days straight, at least, nonstop messaging every single person like that I could reach, like Facebook or just anywhere about like, please donate to this. I want to get this. I think this will save the game. Please donate to this for this cause. And the combination of my own effort of this money, $200 plus all my hours researching and everything. If I didn't do what I did, if I had just stayed idle or didn't try hard, we would have actually lost the Skullgirls. Even if most of the reason is because Nova, but that's because I contacted him. We would have not had in Evo 2013 if I didn't take action. I would in a different universe where Mew2king didn't take action, we lost to Skullgirls. Evo 2013 never happened. Mango never won. The game never revived. All that. That's not to say the game couldn't have had a 2014. There's always that possibility, but it also couldn't have. If I feel like I don't get enough credit for this, or people just don't know. Melee lived largely because of me. And nobody ever talks about that. And the reason I'm talking about now is because nobody knows I never get credit for this.
Short at Evo, placing 5th, and after he went on a rampage, winning 8 tournaments in a row.
I was insane. If anybody looks up my Big House 3 run, keep in mind, this is vanilla Melee on random controllers. This isn't your optimized fobs with notches and made by custom controller maker that doesn't change with UCF and easy movement. This is vanilla Melee. Get a controller, practice with it, get really good. And I was doing stuff like this.
Evo, placing 5th, and
like, look at this.
He went on a rampage, winning 8 tournaments in a
and I was moving like this the whole time. I beat Hungrybox 3-1. Hbox just 2-0'd me at Evo. Badly. I didn't understand why. I thought, I'm so freaking good. It makes no sense that I'm 4-stocking all the other puffs. And then Hbox 3-stocks me. I don't even think he's better than me. I'm amazing, and I should be winning. So that's why I was convinced of that. And then, so I practiced, studied, trained Prince Sabu, taught Prince Sabu how to play in a way that would benefit him and benefit me so that he would get better overall and I would get the proper habits I need to fight against Hungrybox, which is a lot of secrets I'm not going to reveal. That worked. And I beat him 3-0 and 3-1. I beat him 3-1 and 3-0 back to back. And that same Hbox got second at the tourney, beat Dr. PP. We both beat Dr. PP, which was really good for me. And I don't think it was because PP played bad, really. I was just playing really good. And I also like really like I fought SFAT. I was like I think he beat my Marth one game, and then I beat him with Marth and FD badly, and then he went Pokemon Stadium, and I like Fox and Pokemon, so I 2-0'd him in the Fox Ditto there too. And I think one of the games I almost 4-stocked him in our Fox Ditto. Like, I was insane. You should look at my Big House 3 like top 12, top 8 run or something, because I was insane. I think it was like quarters I had to fight SFAT.
in a row, and finally winning another major again.
I was really happy because I just wanted to prove to everyone I was the best. To me, it was all about I'm the best. I will prove it.
Large events he won include Pound 5.5, Rom 6, and Kings of Cali 3. This insane run is
Oh, people like to like attack my Peach for not being fancy. My Peach has a purpose. My purpose is to beat Ices, and I'm also good at Ditto. So my Peach serves my purpose. And as much as people make fun of it, I think they shouldn't be making fun of it because I'm better than almost everybody. Like, I'm one of the best in the world with like Peach Ditto and Peach versus Ices. They just don't like what it looks like and the fact that I'm bad at specifically float cancel nair, which is something you don't really need for that matchup, those matchups anyway. So I just practiced what I needed to for the matchups I was going to actually play. So I don't care if they. I don't think it's right for the people to shit on my Peach so much. Yeah, it's not as good as my Marvin Fox, but it's a lot better than people pretend it is. At least at those matchups.
Fans. Mew2king had proven that he wasn't the weakest god.
Look how close top 3 are. Oh, I actually want to comment on this. It's actually kind of bullshit that I was 3rd. I actually think, and I've talked to Armada about this, I should have been top 2 or maybe 1st. Armada has only entered, I think, I could be wrong about this, so you could fact check me. I believe Armada only entered 2 tourneys that whole year and then retired. He should have probably been unranked due to the fact that he's only entered like 2 tournaments. And he was 1-0 versus me in the year. But his lack of attendance and a lack of accomplishments for that whole year were so tiny, it's really unfair to consider. Because imagine if I enter 1 tourney a year, win, and decide, oh, well, I don't want to lose anymore, so I'm going to quit. I'm not saying Armada did that, because Armada wanted to quit for his own reasons. But he literally attended 2 tourneys the whole year. He shouldn't have even by today's standards, he wouldn't even be ranked. You have to enter like multiple tournaments nowadays to even be ranked. This wasn't based on, and Mango was like, I think it was like 8-4 or 5-1. I think I was up on him in sets like 5-1. Or maybe like it was like 8-4 in like game count or something. Anyway, I only lost to Mango once that whole year. And yeah, I get it. Mango won Evo, and that's the important tourney, the most important one, but it's not the only tourney. I was completely dominant the last months of the year. I was destroying 8-spots repeatedly, beating Mango consistently while he was barely attending. Armada was inactive. I was beating SFAT, beating like PPMD, beating everybody for the last 2 months of the year. And I was attending everywhere. I was risking it. I could have lost. People would use that against me, but I didn't. I won. And I was doing this consistently. And when I did bad, it wasn't even bad. I think, honestly, I should have been 1st and no less than 2nd for that year. I think I definitely should have been either 1st or 2nd, probably 1st for that year. But it was mostly based on voting. You had like a poll. It wasn't based on math or anything. It was based on a select number of people. They vote. What do you think this guy's skill level is? 9, 9.5, 10, 8. And you just vote. So if people like you, or they just have the opinion of you of a certain thing, they just put you higher, but they just put you a 10 or a 9 or whatever. And that's where these scores came from. In reality, and I'm actually really salty about this, I was probably the best player of 2013 overall. Sure, I didn't win Evo, but I was completely dominant the next several months. I would get like 1st and 2nd repeatedly, and my attendance would be the highest. That attendance nowadays would be rewarded consistently, and the system would be more fair. A system that was actually fair would have put me 1st, at worst 2nd.
Even while focusing on Melee, this guy even won back his #1 rank in Brawl.
Oh yeah, I came back in Brawl too, which is really cool. I should have been 1st in both games. It's actually unfair that I wasn't, because I was actually the best in the world both games here.
M2K managed to place within the top 5 of every major this year, but failed to win any, and had a shocking tournament at Do You Fox with it, placing 13th.
I think the one thing they should mention is that at almost all of these tourneys, unless the tourney was melee only, which is like, I think most of the tourneys had multiple games. I think some of the tourneys were melee only, but a lot of like the majors were usually like multiple games. If it had multiple games, like I'm at Big House 4, I took a set off Leffen 3-0, I took a set off Mango 3-0. I 3-0'd Mango, 3-0'd Leffen, back to back. And I ranked Armada, who got 4th. I did lose to Mango twice in Grands. Oh well, but I think the double 3-0s on Leffen and Mango back-to-back shouldn't be glossed over, but nobody talks about that. And I also entered Project M at the same day, winning doubles and doing respectable in singles and stuff. I think if there was Brawl there, I did that too. I did this for like every tournament. Like the tournament would have Melee, Brawl, PM. I'm just going to enter them all. Doubles too, I'm entering them all. Or whatever they'll allow me to enter. At some tourneys, they had like a Mew2king rule where I think certain tourneys, like East Coast and TOs, because I would enter so many tournaments in Melee, Brawl, and Project M, and to be singles and doubles for the events, they actually made a rule where I can only enter 4 events. So I would have to sacrifice 2 events that I wouldn't be able to enter at any tourney. And that sucked because I'm the type of guy to try to win all 6. And all 6, at the same time, win all 6 at the same time. That's the way I lived. But certain tourneys, it didn't happen very often. Certain tourneys limited me.
but failed to win any, and had a shocking tournament at Do You Fox with it, placing 13th. He was able to finally beat Armada for the first time this year, completing a win against every god. He was able to win some decently big tournaments, many of them even had another god present, but was...
Oh yeah, and this was I think oh yeah, Pat's house too. The venue looks like that there, but there was a lot of people in the venue on the other side, just not on this camera. See the result here? Like here, I'm at like 2 stock 50 damage to H-Box, 3-1 grand finals. I was still in winners. Like I was doing this to Hungrybox and my fellow gods a lot when I was in dominant form.
Many of them even had another god.
But like I didn't want to be like a dick about it because like obviously I like to be like at this moment he's not happy. And to be fair, H-Box does have a 50 to 28 lifetime record on me. So out of 78 sets, he won 50 and I won 28. But there was a period of time where I was really, really good at it.
But was still unable to win any majors.
But I'm not gonna like pop off and like make him feel bad, I'm not that type of guy.
While he teamed with many different players, he seemed to have found a consistent teammate in Armada. They were known as Team Empire, Arcadia, or EMP.
This guy fucking scammed the shit out of me. I just want to say it. Triforce scammed the shit out of me, lied to me numerous times, manipulated me, so much lying and manipulation, and oh my god, bro. I don't even want to get into it. I didn't make the amount of money he gave me in 6 years is about the same as the amount of money I gave him in 6 years. So I basically was unsponsored for that whole 6 years. Not even basically. I was unsponsored those 6 years. Back then, everybody used to trick and scam me. And I used to believe I always used to believe people would tell the truth because I have a hard time believe people were lying. And so everybody would always trick and scam me all the time. When I was here, I just want to live my life playing video games, being the best at video games. Everybody always takes advantage of like my social stupidness and naivety and stuff. And that's like the summary of my whole life.
For Mew2king, as he lost Paragon 2015 to Hungrybox.
Dude, this is one of those times where I actually was so happy that, okay, so to explain why I didn't really care about this, despite what, me rolling my eyes in this particular frame. This tourney, I beat Hungrybox in Project M and beat everybody else, winning Project M. I beat Leffen in Diddy Dittos pretty badly and beat Nick Riddle and everybody else in Smash 4. So I won Smash Wii U. I won Project M. I just beat Leffen, and I lost to Xbox twice. Whatever. But despite me getting first, beating Leffen in both games, Xbox and PM in the same matchup, they only talk about the one set that I lost. Like videos about this, it's like they're only going to talk about that part when every single other data point about the tournament is like ridiculously good for me. And as it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like a shame. Everything else, which was not just good, but amazing for me, that whole tourney, all of it won't be mentioned.
In what many consider the worst grand finals of all time.
I didn't care. I wasn't here to entertain you. I was like, F it. I'm down 4-1. I'm just going to the next game. Leffen does that today. No one gives a shit.
Stock twice. He also placed poorly at Apex 2015.
But I don't think I can win. Oh yeah. Oh, I was in. Oh, this is the one tourney. Okay, this is the. I'm gonna be straight with you. Apex 2015. I was also entering double. Smash 4, Smash Wii U. I got second to Zero and DeBuzz. No, I got 5th place, but I got 5th place by losing the second and first. I almost 3-0'd DeBuzz, but he made a reverse 3 off Almar. I like 2-stocked his Rosalina twice. I destroyed his Rosalina twice, whatever it was. He barely beat me with Almar, and then he won the next 2 games of Almar. And I was like, oh shit. But then the people who got 3rd and 4th lost to the same people as me. So I could have got anywhere between 3rd or 5th. 3rd to 5th, but the way the bracket worked, it was 5th. We won doubles, me and Zero won doubles. Me and Xbox got second in doubles and melee, so first, second, 5th in those events. But bro, I'm not even joking with you. The whole tourney, I never say this, but it was true at this particular tourney in general. This is like one of the only time I was actually feeling sick. So people were spreading rumors that I was coughing blood. That never happened, and I never said that. I never said that, and it never happened. I don't know why people started saying that, but I was sick and feeling like shit physically. And I was like kind of being emo for other reasons I don't remember.
He wasn't feeling all that great the whole weekend, but he lost to Leffen for the first time, allowing the Swede to...
Oh yeah, so Leffen beat me here, and then I think at Press Start and then SmashCon, and then after that he had a big ego, and that's when he started talking. He said he's 2 tiers above me. That's when I 6-0'd him later and 4-stocked him right after that. Because I at first I didn't really give a shit. I was like, whatever, it's one of many tourneys. But then he talked shit and it was like, okay. And now I have a reason to take his ego down. Before I didn't really care much.
Of the gods. He was also supposed to compete at MVG Sandstorm, but dropped out of the main bracket due to not liking his seed.
No, that's not even. I was being emo for other reasons. I don't want to get into that. Basically, a lot of the year was me being emo for various reasons for years and years. depression and stuff I don't want to talk into. A lot of it's very depression related.
I was actually supposed to be his round 1 opponent back in 2015 at my first major before switching my tag to my first name. What up, Jason? I'm up 1-0 lifetime on you, dog. I knew you were scared of me. One of the 5 gods, my ass.
Oh, we going there? Oh.
All seriousness though, Mew2king didn't win a major this year, but still won several smaller events over notable players such as...
Wait, how's Smash and Splash is... Bro, Smash and Splash is pretty big. I had to fight Plup in Grand Finals with Project M and Melee, and there was a bunch of other good players there. A lot of these tournaments were big. What the heck? PAX Prime at 6-0 left, and SKTR had like a bunch of really good people. Yeah, it's not a national, but these are still good people at
Plup
them.
acts in West Balls. His best event this year was PAX Prime 2015, where he 6-0'd the Godslayer Leffen, who many considered to be a god as well, and possibly the #1 player in the world at the time.
He actually was looking to be #1 before I did this. He 3-0'd Hugs this tourney, who beat him prior, and he beat Hugs very badly. He beat West Balls, who had beaten him before. So Hugs and West Balls were Leffen's opponents besides me this tourney. Leffen had lost to both these players in the past, but Leffen destroyed Hugs badly, and then destroyed West Balls badly this tourney. So nobody can say he was playing bad because he was not. I was just playing better that time. But outside of the 6-0, anything the months before that exact moment in time, he was really, really good against everybody for months. So that's why I consider this a legit win. It's not like, oh, I 6-0'd him and he was playing bad. No, he was actually playing pretty good. He was actually playing good. I was just playing better.
Another event worth mentioning for Mew2king was EVO 2015, but for different reasons. Prior to this point, M2K had been...
Oh yeah, I was having between the years like 2012 to 2015 or so, I was having finger issues that I don't want to get into. But yeah, it was not good.
Suffer from hand pain for some time, but it got worse to the point where the pain was too much and he missed out on the most prestigious tournament of the year. He also struggled with...
Oh, no, that's not true. Okay, so this is totally different. I missed EVO. Okay, so this storyline is actually completely wrong. Where he said the most... He's talking about EVO 2015. I did not drop out of EVO 2015 because of that. The reason I didn't go to EVO 2015 is because I went to somebody's house in Texas. I went to some Texas tournament, right? For whatever reason. I went to a Texas tourney. And then I stayed at somebody's house and slept on their couch. The moment I woke up, my finger was swollen red. I think like a spider or something must have bit me. Because I was asleep normally. I woke up, my finger was swollen. And I even had like a picture of it on my Facebook or something. I'm talking like twice as thick. Like imagine this. Imagine it being almost twice as thick and red and it was like scary. Like I wasn't sure it was I felt like my finger was gonna pop. I've never had that happen in my life, at least not to that degree. And when I went home, like I flew home, it was still like I was like, okay, I literally, and this was like just before Evo. I'm like, I literally can't play. Okay, I literally can't play Evo like this. That's why I skipped Evo 2015. The fact that I had hand pain earlier in the year is actually nothing more than a coincidence. It has nothing to do with the fact that I think a spider or something must have bit my hand while I was sleeping because I woke up with a huge thing and it was there for like days or weeks or something. It was scary. Nothing more than a pure coincidence that they're both finger-related issues in the same year.
Oh, he was considered the 69th best Smash 4 player of all time.
Oh, the only reason I was this low... to be fair, I'm right next to freaking Gluttony. But the only reason it was this low is because... actually, I'm above Gluttony. The only reason it was this low is because I would hardly attend anything. Or I would enter Melee in Smash 4, and I would be like, okay, I'm doing better in Melee, and I'd just drop out of Smash 4. Because I didn't care. I was just thinking, like, what makes the most sense to me. I wasn't thinking of how it looked to the public eye or anything. I was just, what makes the most sense? Okay, if I'm doing better in this, I'll just continue this and drop out everyone. Who cares? The year before that, I was thinking it was like top 20 or something. I don't remember. But I assure you that I was much better than 69. I was like the best Cloud year 1. Beat Ally twice, who was rank 2. Beat Zero twice, who was rank 1. But I guess it might be different from 2015 to 16 because they're in 2015, but Cloud came out at the end of 2015, so it's like it's kind of weird. I guess they're going all time. So basically, the years when Cloud came out at the end of 2015, I basically tryharded Cloud for the year 2016, and then after that, I kind of stopped caring because I was like, oh, I'm doing better at Melee, and I won Shine 2016 and like toward the end of 2016. So from like Shine 2016 to like Super Smash Con 2018, which was like mid-late 2016 to mid-late 2018, that 2 years time span, I basically was hardly competing in Smash 4 at all. But I really tryharded the year 2016 in particular in Smash 4, or both games. But then I noticed, okay, well, I'm doing better Melee. I'm just going to continue that, right? Despite me not really hardly entering anything the last 2 years, it was still not enough to be 69 all time. I think if I was actually not dropping out and not giving a shit about it, it probably would have been like, I think maybe it is 20, maybe.
It's absolutely really good,
30,
but nowhere
30.
near winning major tournaments. 2016 started off poorly with him missing out on Genesis top 8 due to wobbling
By the way, this all happened because my controller didn't fast fall at one moment.
major tournaments.
My controller literally failing to fast fall a single time actually caused this loss. Like, don't get me wrong. He was up a game, but I was almost definitely going to win that game. I remember this moment right here. Let's see, like, how I fast fall. For some reason, the one time I tapped down, my controller didn't fast fall. And he stood there like an idiot and would have got grabbed. But the 1 in 100 time that my controller misses a fast fall, I die. And trust me, you don't forget that moment. Even though it was like probably the only time it happened like the whole set.
Due to wobbling. Seriously, what is this character, man? The same as the years prior, while Mew2king won several smaller events.
And the funny thing is that one fast fall drop was literally me not getting top 8.
Over some of the top players, a major with most of the gods present still eluded him since the Big House 3, but he finally broke that curse, winning Shine 2016.
Oh, look at. I thought this play was cool. So I did this down tilt in case he went straight. But look at what I'm doing here. So when you land, you have 4 frames landing lag, right? Okay. This actually covers everything because when you land, you have 4 frames landing lag. 1, 2, he gets hit on the 2nd or 3rd frame.
Curse to the gods present still eluded him.
I thought this was genius. The people are not talking about this play enough. I don't think they even understand what's going on.
But he finally.
So I do this. Most people would like, okay, reverse up tilt, but then like the up tilt may or may not send him to the right. But if I do this jump back fair in this way, that's how I guarantee the kill. If I was to up tilt or reverse up tilt, it wouldn't work. If I was to F smash, you might be above main miss. This was the only way to guarantee it.
Since the Big House 3, but he finally broke that curse, winning Shine 20.
It's the little details, you know.
16 over Hungrybox and Mango plus SFAT. SFAT was on a roll and would often beat HBox and.
Actually, it's SFAT beat Mango and Hungrybox the same tourney. So I double eliminated SFAT at this tourney and a bunch of other people. That's the same SFAT beat the Hungrybox and Mango back to back. So it was like prime SFAT basically.
Mango, but Mew2king always stood in his way. He also performed better against Armada.
This was okay, so this is crazy. In Summit 2, I studied Armada, and I finally, not only did I beat him with Marth, I 3-0'd him with Marth. And then 1 month later, exactly 1 month later, I fought Zero in Gommel, and I 3-0'd Zero. And Armada and Zero were the #1 games in their respective games. So I 3-0'd Armada in Melee, who was the rank 1 player. 1 month later, I 3-0'd Zero, who was the rank 1 Smash 4 player. I thought that was crazy because I don't know anybody who does that in who 3-0s the #1 player in 2 completely different games within like a 1 month time span. I was so like, I was on top of the world then.
A few sets and even 3-0ing him.
And this was the same time that I was finally getting picked. Between these events, see, I was MVG Cog Mew2king. Between these 2 events, I actually changed sponsors from Cognitive Gaming to Echo Fox because Cognitive wouldn't give me a raise, and Echo Fox gave me a lot more money.
Majors with most of them present have been beyond him.
I think here's the thing that people aren't factoring. I think a large reason why it was hard for me to win majors with multiple gods is because I had to keep 3 characters warmed up. When I fight Hungrybox, and first off, it's harder when you're seated lower because I have to fight like the really hard people in quarters. But not only that, I have to keep a Fox warmed up just for 1 person, HBox, because of his puff. You couldn't even pivot with Marth, and back then I didn't do the puff too much, and then Sheik just sucks against puff. So that matchup was Fox was the best option. So I had to keep Fox warmed up. But if there was Brawl Project them, I'm always entering Brawl Project them because, well, I'll do well. But at this time, this wasn't Brawl. It would be a combination of like Smash 4 and Project them. I didn't do PM that much around 2017, so it was actually mixing between Melee and Smash 4. Either way, I had to keep Sheik, Marth, and Fox warmed up, and it was very hard to be 100%. The biggest reason is that I needed to keep 3 characters warmed up. And it might not seem, it's actually more than that because there's Peach for Ices and stuff. Keeping all of those warmed up when most people are using, like, Acebox is only using Puff all day. Leffin's only using Fox. Like, most people are only using their 1 or 2 characters. I'm using 3+ every single time. And I think that's really a factor that people don't talk about. Nowadays, you see, like, Leffin and other people talk about, oh, wow, it's hard to keep Sheik and Fox warmed up. Bro, I had to keep, you complain about 2 characters warmed up. And I get it, it's hard. Now imagine me having to keep 3 characters warmed up at the Melee only tourneys, more when it's more than that, and be at my 100% best every time. Because if you're not at your best or close to your best, you're just going to lose to somebody else who's also very good. That little bit of a difference is the difference between winning and losing the set. So like, I really think that that's like the main factor. It was less of an issue of skill and more of an issue of, okay, at this tourney, I don't have to, like, H-Box. I'm just going to focus on my Fox because I'm going to beat everybody else anyway, and I just focus on Fox and I beat him. But then if like, oh, everybody's there, I have to divide my time instead of going 100% Marth effort, 100% Sheik effort, 100% Fox effort. I can't. And that was like what made it extra difficult for me.
Wobbling also still continued to trouble him.
I think anyone would struggle with that. That's why nobody succeeded. Everybody who's successful, solo main or dual main. I was the only one doing 3.
Doubles as well, no longer winning almost every event. 2018 was very similar to previous years, but his average placing suffered. He had several placements outside of top 8 and was seen as the weakest of the gods. Especially with PP being out of the picture due to his retirement, Mew2king was the lowest of the 4 now. We can ignore all of that because Mew2king finally took home a major with several gods present since Shine 20.
And now there's more than just this. There's a tournament that people are not talking about, which I think they should talk about. There's a tournament called Canada Cup 2017. Leffen sent Armada to losers, and I defeated Kage, None, who could beat me, Armada 3-1, and then Leffen twice. Leffen beat me and Armada, sent us both to losers. I beat Kage, None. None's beat me before. Armada 3-2, 2-stock game last game. Then I almost 6-0'd Leffen. I almost 6-0'd him, and the first 3 games were 2-stock, 2-stock, 2-stock. Then I dominated him like 5 games in a row. Was gonna win the 6. I pressed forward smash to Edgeguard on the right side of stage. My controller did down smash. I ended up losing that game starting from that. If my C-stick literally did F smash like it was supposed to, it would have been a 6-0 and would have been the second 6-0. It did down smash instead. He took the momentum from that to win that game. Won a close second game, and then it was final game, set 3, game 5, and I almost 4-stocked him. This was Canada Cup 2017. I think people don't go over that enough. Like, this video doesn't talk about it. It seems like people just don't know about it, but that was a really big deal. Because None, Armada, Leffen, back to back, and none of the sets were like even that close. Like, yeah, it was last game Armada, Leffen, but it was like a very dominant last game on Armada and a very, very, very dominant last game on Leffen. My wins were even more convincing than my loss. Like, when I lost, it was like a close game. When I won, it was like a dominant game a bunch of times. So it was actually like, oh, I was just better playing them at those events, you know? So that was like end of 2017. And I think them not mentioning this isn't a little unfair, but I think that's why I have to mention it, because that's a very important detail.
2016. He defeated his demon Armada, Leffen, and the Rising Star Zane, plus Armada again to win Smash Summit 6.
Then Smash Summit 6 was like half a year later or whatever. It was like Smash Summit 6 was roughly half a year later. I beat Zane twice. Zane got 3rd. Zane beat Plup and Mango and everybody else. I beat Zane twice, 3-1 and 3-2. I also beat Armada 3-1 and 3-1 and beat Leffen 3-1. So I 3-1 Zane, 3-2 Zane, 3-1 Leffen, 3-1 Armada, and 3-1 Armada again. Only one game was set. Okay, I think I lost to Plup in a set the previous day, but that was in pools. On Sunday, I won 3-1 Leffen, 3-1 Armada, 3-1 Armada again, 3-1 Zane, 3-1. So basically, if Zane didn't take me to game 5 that one set, it would have been 3-1 5 times. So 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-2 in no order. And that was pretty cool, because pretty convincing, you know? It's pretty cool. Because I still had another chance. Even if I lost the set, I still had another chance to come back. That was one of my best turns as well.
Mew2king himself was in disbelief and was beyond happy.
And I was like, I saw him here. I was looking for a change in movement because I thought he'd neutral get up. And I figured if he did neutral get up, he'd probably be trying to shine or spot dodge, which means he'd be holding down. So like here. So it's like 1. Let me see it. Oh, it's hard to see the frame by frame. But even if he was like holding shine or spot dodge, he would be hit here.
Himself was in disbelief and was beyond happy.
I was locked in the game. I was exaggerating a little bit.
Mew2king didn't even know he won at the time. One of the most wholesome moments in Smash. He also
little
was
exaggerated.
top in doubles, winning more events than anyone else. 2019 was very bad for Mew2king, and his attendance dramatically dropped compared to his previous years. With only 4 events, no wins, and getting wobbled for 33rd at Genesis 6. He did enter doubles more than singles.
Oh yeah. I actually want to count this. 33rd at Genesis was the lowest I ever ranked. However, there's an important detail to that. Both sets I lost were game 5 last hit. So first off, I was playing Smash 4 a lot. Like, I was really Smash Ultimate focused by then. But both sets I lost to get 33rd was a game 5 last hit and then another game 5 last hit. I think it was Triphasia It was 3-2, and I was doing a Ken combo. We both at like 100. I literally missed the Ken combo and died, which is something I almost never do. And then another last hit game 5. So 2 last hit game 5s, but nobody cares about that. They're just gonna see 33rd, which sucks.
And like previous years, won most events. 2020 was also not great as he only attended 2 events. A smaller tournament, Tampa Never Sleeps 8, which he won, and Genesis 7, where he placed a lowly 13th. He did win Genesis 7 doubles though, showing that no matter what, he's still one of the very best doubles players. 2021 and 2022 were the last
doubles
year King was active. He only had 4 events, and while he
so what happened is Echo Fox. So here's what happened. Here's why I like went away from the game. This is pretty important. Obviously, we all know how Echo Fox disbanded from the racism and stuff in the company. Okay, so when that happens, everyone lost their sponsor, and me and my team were renegotiating with other esports teams to get signed again. Just before we signed the contract, COVID-19 hit. And then they both decided to back out on their contracts because of COVID-19. And then COVID lasted 2 years. So I was just doing streaming and coaching for those 2 years. By the time it ended, they weren't interested anymore because 2 whole years had passed. So by then, it didn't make sense for me to take a risk, pay out of pocket to go to events anymore. It made sense for me to continue streaming and coaching because that's what was working. That was a safe path. My entire life trajectory happened from 2 things outside my control: Echo Fox disbanding and COVID, and them happening back to back in the way that they happened. If those Echo Fox disbanding and COVID didn't happen, my life would have went on a very different trajectory, and I'm almost positive, like 90% sure I'd be a top melee player today because I wouldn't have stopped. It's unfortunate, but that's exactly what happened. And the trajectory of my life and the way that made the direction that set my life toward streaming and toward coaching, and not sponsored because there's no sponsor paying me, no flights and no hotels either. I'm not going to risk that. I have something that's working. I'm going to keep doing what's working. And then I've been doing that until now. That's basically the biggest reason that I stopped. Circumstances outside my control. And then the trajectory that set my life. I was also like, Mango was kind of like having people be mean to me, being mean to me and having his people be mean to me. And that kind of like made my motivation go down. And then not only that, so that like, he was being mean. Like I Smash World Tour. Do you know what I did before Smash World Tour 2021 at the end of the year? There was one day where I did 13 Metafy sessions every single hour. 13 sessions in a row. Crazy, right? It's true. And most of these sessions, all of like November, December, and what I played the whole year was Ultimate. Most of my Metafy sessions were Ultimate. What was I always playing? Ultimate. I played Melee for like a week. Was pretty bad at it relative to prior years. Andrew got 17th, playing horribly. And then Mango had made fun of me on stream about how bad I was playing. Do you want to see me go on stream making fun of him, how bad he played against like Zane getting 10-0 to equal or just any of his random losses? I don't do that because I'm not a sociopath. Anyway, and then he like was being really mean about it on Twitch, and like then his fan base would also be mean about it, and I was like, this, I'm done. And then a year later, I was like thinking about changing my mind because Smash World Tour, there's so much money in it, and it was looking like Smash was coming back. Smash World Tour, 250K. Panda Cup was like 50K or more, or whatever it was. It was a lot, right? So I was practicing for it, trying to qualify for the points. I went to Viva last Smash. I 6-0'd Far. Far is good. Far's taking a game off of Zane Sheik. I 6-0'd Far and Sheik Dittos and beat everybody else without dropping a game. Went to DreamHack Atlanta, was supposed to beat SFOP. All I had to do was stay on stage and counter and just take my free win. I ran on stage, died at 0 when I had a guaranteed Edgeguard. So there was like 99 universes where I won and 1 universe where I lost. And I decided to pick the universe where I lost because I'm an idiot. They lost to Callball, which I haven't. He could beat me, but it's very statistically unlikely. I beat Panda twice, 3-1. He's pretty good. Got 3rd when I easily could have got 1st, but whatever, no biggie. Right after that happened, the important details. Right after that happened, what happened is that Panda Cup and Gimmer and VG Bootcamp and the Smash World Tour and everybody, they all decided to cancel each other because like Smash World Tour got canceled by Nintendo and you know all the drama, and then Gimmer and VG Bootcamp were like, oh, it's all Panda's fault, and then Panda got closed down. Everything just blew up, and then Summit blew up, and it's like, okay, we lost Smash World Tour, we lost Panda Cup, and then we lost Summit. So you know what I did? I quit. Because why should I care anymore? So my life went in trajectories from a bunch of factors outside of my control. If these factors didn't go outside my control, there was very reasonably a universe where I just kept playing Melee or competitive Smash and kept traveling and competing for a Melee Ultimate for the past like 4 years. But that's not what happened. I know, as I said, a lot of this was from factors outside my control, which set my life in certain trajectories due to different motivational issues or just whatever random reason that I just mentioned. These were the main factors and why I stopped playing. But yeah, that's basically the story. And now I'm trying to do like I'm doing full-time streaming. I'm very stream focused. Streaming is my priority. But I'm also like gonna try to compete in rivals. I haven't played people yet, but I've played for hundreds of hours and studied a lot. I may or may not come back from Melee Ultimate. I haven't decided, but I'm definitely gonna play a new Smash. I'm definitely playing rivals. I'm definitely playing a new Smash game, and I'm definitely gonna do doubles. Those are my main interests, and streaming is always the priority. And I still do coaching. Anyway, if you guys want to help me out, to close out, obviously, whenever this goes on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like YouTube and Twitch and stuff, whatever. If you are reading this, if this goes on YouTube later and you're reading this before December 14th or before November 31st, which is in like 9 days, make sure to take advantage of the Black Friday sale because this is the only time of the entire year Metafy is doing this. Where if you book with me on Metafy, for like, it could be my tiers, like tier 1 through 3, which is like only a few bucks, or maybe like you want to get 8 hours with me and save $130 off the normal price, I'm actually getting more money than you pay. So if you ever wanted to support me and or wanted to get better at Melee, Ultimate, or Rivals, right now is the time to act for that because this is the Black Friday sale. And this is the first, I'm going to tell you, Metafy used to do sales a lot. They don't do that anymore. This is like one of the very rare. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was the last time they do a sale, or at least the last time for like a year. I don't even know if they'll ever do it again. I never know. So if you want to get better, this is the time to do it. This week is the time to do it. There's also a factor if you want to help me out. And if you want to help me out, you can use a free Twitch Prime. These are free ways. You can use a free Twitch Prime once a month. Subs, Prime, and Turbo removes ads. And also, you can keep my stream on all day. Gives me a few bucks a day and not muted. Helps me be relevant. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff here if you just care about reading this and helping me out. All right, I guess if this goes on YouTube, I'm just going to close out the video and say like, subscribe, all that.